When they got running water in Saluda, when they put the system in, first the wooden water pipes and then whatever else they put in, when there was a water system, my grandmother decided that she would have a pond built, and my daughter and I were visiting my aunt in New York, and we were asking. My aunt had lost her hearing. She could still talk. She had a good memory. She was in between 95 and 100. I don't remember what age, but she's over 95 then. She died at 99. But we were visiting her, and she said, and Myra asked her why she wanted a pond, and we said, well, somebody up on Chisholm Street over the mountain had a pond, and she wanted one too. I didn't much go down to watch trains come in. Now, I heard my mother, because she came up here in 1925, and that they would go down, and she was teaching, and they sent her down one time to meet this teacher that was coming in on the train, and whoever was with her thought, well, they were debating what she'd look like. And it was an elderly woman that did get off the train that was, and the boys thought she had a wig. And they were doing a Christmas tree later at school, and those boys, and I don't remember who they were now, but they were native mountain kids. They flipped one of the limbs down and caught her hair and threw her wig off. As a child, we lived at Overbrook Orchard, which is part of it was in the city limits, and part of that property is outside the city limits. And I used to love to walk to town. And Mother would say we'd walk to town. And somebody offered us a ride, and I didn't want to ride, I wanted to walk. And she wound up walking with me to town from out there, which was a mile walk in. It would have been along what's Louisiana Avenue now, the way we walked. And then I can remember walking home in second grade. Henrietta Gant lived down at the foot of the hill where Cindy Ledbetter maybe lives now, down in one of those cottages. And this little boy, Marion Quillen, started throwing rocks at us, and that was a gravel road. And we were walking Laurel Drive Road, which sort of parallel, but Laurel Drive was the quickest way to get. She lived down at the foot of the hill. Throw back at him. Well, he may have ducked hers, but whatever he did, I hit him. and cut his head up his forehead. He never did tell, and we never did tell, because we knew it'd stop us from walking if we told that such a thing had happened. The boy was throwing, he was in our class, I guess, at school, and he had an older brother, and I saw his older brother in Hendersonville at a street dance maybe 20 years ago, hadn't been a real long time ago. And he told me that Marion still had a scar where that rock had hit him up here on his forehead.
That came into this area.
The normal people, the mountain people, did not, I mean, they might have worked for or sold produce or something like that for the summer people, but they didn't party together or anything. Now, Mother and Daddy partied with the summer people. When there were always, when Dr. Smith had the seminars here, there were always detail men and stuff visiting over at the house. And they, one doctor from Georgia always brought a ham, and Daddy cooked it, and they fixed a meal and had, a whole group of them come over to eat.
That was not the way most of
No. normal natives would not do that at all. But there was a difference. There was a lot of partying with the summer people, cocktail hours and whatever.
They worked for them.
Yeah, they worked for them. They did. They worked for them and sold things to them. And they made money in the summer from working for them. And I can remember a number of a lot of the houses had little servants' quarters, houses built behind them for the servants to stay in. There was a small one behind the house I lived in over on the hill, and a double one behind the big greenhouse. And I can remember seeing the colored people walking with, you didn't have laundry service or anything, so we sent our clothes off over into Colored Town, where they washed them in a big black pot, I think, and dried them and ironed them or whatever they did, and put them on this basket and carried it on their head, and yeah, they brought it back, carrying it on their heads.